In this series, I'll be making use of the MERN stack, and together we will build a full stack application called the food basket. And if you don't know what the MERN stack stands for, it stands for Mongo, Express, React, and Node.js. Mongo is a NoSQL database. It is used to store our data. Express is a backend framework and is used mostly for building APIs. React is a front-end UI framework/library. And last but not the least, Node.js is a JavaScript runtime, which enables us to use JavaScript as server-side technology or server-side language. All these technologies, when combined, allows us to build very powerful applications. If you can build MERN applications and deploy them, there's a chance that you can get a really good job. Now, back to our application. Our application is built for an imaginary store called the Mufasa store. The Mufasa store offers 75% discount on all their items, and this item consists mainly of foodstuff all over Africa. Now, when we are done with this application, our application should be able to do the following. Our application should be able to display food items at discounted prices. You should be able to display user interface where shoppers can pre-order. It should be able to display a timer set to the duration of the offer. You should be able to provide lock admin privileges that can only be accessed with a passcode. And last but not the least, you should be able to show real-time record of number of pre-orders. Here is what our application would look like when we are done. Um, we have a button and a table, basically a table that shows the name of the items, the price slash, and the discounted price. Here we have the quantity, date, and over here, you notice that the buttons are disabled. If I click, nothing happens. If I click, nothing happens. But I can come over here and type a passcode, and you notice that now I have access to the button. Now I can click, and instantly a modal pop-up comes up where I can actually update the items here. Also, I have this button where I can add discounted items. And over at the top, you notice as I put this, there is a tooltip that keeps coming up. And it says for registered sellers only, terms and conditions apply. And if we come down here, we have our timer. For this, I'll be making use of React Date Countdown Timer. And as you can see, it breaks everything down up to seconds. You have 1 month, 24 days, 2 hours, 39 minutes, and the seconds keep reading. And over at the top here, we have real-time stats of shoppers that have registered. Now let's assume I want to shop for one of these items. I will just come here and say, for instance, cassava. How many quantity do I need? I need two. And if I click here, you can see an alert box says, please enter your first name and mobile. Let me just put a name. For instance, my name is Yuri, and I put a number here. If I click OK, you see the quantity decreases immediately, instantly, decreases instantly. And also notice that immediately this goes to disable mode. If I refresh, it goes to disable mode, can only be accessed with a passcode. And if you come down here back at this timer, you notice that even if I refresh If I refresh, it still continues to count. We'll be making use of local storage to actually make this happen. I just want us to quickly look at the code so that we have a preview of what we'll be doing. The whole code is, the whole application is right here. Everything here is the backend. The entire React application will reside in this folder called the client folder. If we are to look at the server JS file, here we're bringing in Express, Mongoose, and over here we are connecting Mongoose to our database. The whole endpoints are going to be in this file, the routes API inventory file. Down here, we just have a little block of code. We just have a little block of code for when it's in production. We want it to look at the client build folder, which is when we have a React, when we have a React app and we do npm run build, everything goes into that folder, to this folder here. And we want to basically look at that HTML file when we are in production, because we don't have that dev server when we deploy to production, which is a really big part of learning the MERN stack, is how to actually deploy it. So that's the server JS file. And if we look at the routes API inventory file, here we have a couple of endpoints. Here we get all the documents. Here we create documents, update, document, delete, and up here you notice we are bringing in our model. If you look at the model, the inventory item model, we have a name, which is a string, price, number, quantity, number, and also we have a model, our log schema, which is basically like the inventory schema, but in this case we have a modified quantity field and a buyer's details field, because the log constantly logs the activity in the inventory. Also, if you come here, you have the config keys where we have our Mongo URI. If you're making use of a remote Mongo, this will be slightly different. There should be a password somewhere here. But like we said earlier, we're making use of local server. And if you are doing the same, you should have something similar to this, except for this last part. This is the name I choose to give the database. So you can use any name that you want, any name that you like, you can put here. But every other thing should be the same. So that's pretty much it for the back end. And I would like us to look at the clients, which is where we'll be spending most of our time. We have a couple different components. As you can see, we have a full table. The full table is the main component. We are making use of React Bootstrap, and we are making use of React Bootstrap. And over here, you see Axios and Moment. You are using Axios to fetch data from our backend, and Moment for timing and dates. If you come down here, we have our authentication. This is where we bring in our passcode. We protect the buttons with the passcode here. If you go down, you have the deletes. Over here, we have our table. This is where we have our table. And right here is where we actually do the calculation for the 75% discount on whatsoever is being inserted in the inventory collection. And also we have our inventory insert form. This is where we grab input from the user. We grab input from the user and send it to the backend. You can see over here we have a validation to make sure that all the fields are filled up. Subsequent videos we may have to do it from the back end. Also, we have the shopper's detail. This is where we get info about every registered shopper, and these components can actually we can actually get so much from these components, but I've decided to limit it to just getting the number. As you can see here, we are filtering buyers detail. We filter it and we do buyers dot length to get the number of registered shoppers, the number of buyers. Um, so that's pretty much it for the clients. That's pretty much the gist of what we'll be building. As you can see, it's quite a bit for this simple application, but that's the point, is to get you to see as everything works together so you can build your own bigger and better application. So really hope you guys enjoyed this series. I will highly suggest you code along with me and actually deploy it along with me. I think you get more out of it than just watching, but it's totally up to you. So thanks guys, I really appreciate it. I will see you in the next video.